Hello everybody, this is Debbie from Teacher Success Coach. It's been a while since I've done a live because I've been extremely busy. My students have been doing mock exams, year 10 and year 12. And then I've been marking the mock exams and it has been a real challenging few weeks since I've not been on a live, etc. But now it's coming to an end. I finished my marking yesterday. Well, some of the I have finished the mock year 12 and year 10 exams. I finished that marking, but I still have health and social care coursework to mark by next week because we finish next week. But having said that, it's been challenging and it's been lovely. Where should I start? What am I grateful for? Today have been one of those days. There's so many things I'm grateful for. All week I've been grateful for things because all week, there's been challenges. There have been triumph. The challenges were I had the work to mark all the mock exams, year 10, year 12, because I have, two groups of year 10, psychology and sociology, and the 30 students. And then I have year 12, psychology and sociology, and then I have health and social care. So there were a lot of marking to do. That's the part of teaching I really, really do not like. Every other thing about teaching, I love it with a passion. But in terms of the marking, oh dear Lord, that's my challenge. However, there are different ways which I use to assess students. And one of the ways I use quite a lot of the time is giving them exams to do. Just going in and doing exams with them, etc. And the mock have been big papers because we've used past exam papers. So we're talking about full papers. So it's like having to mark all of that. So it's been really challenging. And as I said, that's my pet hate, right? So, something have to be done. It's got to be done. So I had to do the marking. So as I said, I finished the marking on Thursday. Yes, yesterday was Thursday. I left work at 6 o'clock, because I was teaching as well yesterday. So when I finished teaching at 10 to 3, I spent the next 3 hours marking and I finished that. So that was really good. I came home feeling real high. That was the mocks. As I said, I still have health and social care to finish doing the coursework. But that's fine because coursework I find much easier to do than exam scripts. So that was something I was grateful for yesterday, that I finished my marking, the mock exams. So I told myself that when I'm going to go into school this morning, I am going to start working on the coursework for year 12, health and social care tech coursework. Because everybody was saying to me that they were asking me, are you going on a school trip? No. Because today, every group in the school from year 7 all the way up to year 12, the students had a school trip. So we all meant to be taking them on a school trip, etc. But I already had in my head that I wasn't going to go on a school trip. I was just going to sit and mark. Be known to me that I was on a list for a school trip. I didn't even realize. I didn't even look at my email. So when I went in this morning, one of my colleagues said, you going on a trip? No, I'm going down to my classroom to mark. So I took my stuff, went down to my classroom. On the way to the classroom, I found my other students, year 12. I said, don't forget, you are not going on a trip. You need to come to my classroom because we have to work on the course. We have to do the coursework. That's what I'm saying to students, that they need to do the coursework. They're not going on any trip. Some of them went on trips and they say, oh, miss, I'm going to finish up the homework over the weekend. La, la, la. Okay, that's fine. So I went upstairs to my office and then I put my stuff down and then I decided to go downstairs to my classroom to spend, my intention was to spend the rest of the day doing my marking, doing my writing, uploading information for the students. That was my day, When I got to the classroom, there was a group of students in the classroom. And I'm saying to them, what's the matter with you guys? You guys all laughing, etc. What's happening? Oh, but miss, we happy. Oh, yes. That was my thing with them. As I walk in, I said I'm all standing in front of the class, and in front, right in the front. I think, oh, I just went to my desk, put my bag down, And they're all just still looking at me. It was about 4 or 5 of them. So I normally look on the board because I usually see what they've written, because sometimes some students come to my classroom and, write different topics we're doing, etc. When I look on the board, I'm saying, Miss Eno, sorry you're leaving. I think, what's this? So some of the students had to go on a trip this morning at 8:30. And I got in at 8:20. I did not come down to my classroom until 8:35. So the student who had to go on the school trip, they came in early and they wrote on the board, the little thank you, appreciation, etc. And I'm looking at the board and thinking, hold on, I thought the students gone on the trip. And all the students say to me, yes, they've gone on the trip, but they came in early to write on the board, because they know you were going to come into the classroom, etc., etc. I was so emotional. They had the classroom all decorated with balloons. Thank you, Miss. And on the board, they all had their messages and they had gifts and, bunch of flowers. Oh my goodness. I was so choked, so emotional because I was not even expecting that. I was with the students from January. And, some of them didn't know I was leaving. I've been saying to some of them, oh, I'm leaving, this semester next week is my last week. I'm going to another school, and it was like, oh, Miss, why do you have to leave, etc., etc. But I didn't even take much notice of all of that. It's when I got in this morning, oh my goodness, I was so emotional. They make videos, of some of my teaching sessions. Because I think it was Tuesday. I was teaching that group of year 12. And yeah, of course, I'm seeing they're taking video, but I thought they're taking, they usually take pictures of my discussion and they would upload it on the group, etc. So I thought that was what they were doing. I wasn't even taking any notice of them, just teaching as usual. And it's like today when they actually, compile this video, follow them actually talking and me actually, discussing the topic, I was so shocked. It was very, very emotional because it was not only my year 12 students. It was other groups I've taught, year 12, year 10, all of these students. I taught my year 10 yesterday and there were no indication that they were writing a card, nothing. It's like the same way, I was telling them off when they're misbehaving, etc. And I've got 2 students that follow me, right? Before I had 2 year 13s that used to follow me around, right? It's like they keep on saying, oh, Miss, can we follow you? What do you guys want to follow me for? They're following me around. So I had 2 year 13s and they've left. So now I have 2 year 12 and then a year 10. Everywhere I'm going, these students are following me. When I have sometimes I have small classes. Miss, can we sit in the class? Yes, sit in the class. And one of my students yesterday, my year 12, she was saying to me, I was teaching a year 10 group. She said, Miss, in that class, the students really laugh a lot and you laugh a lot. I said, really? I said, but I'm also telling them off because sometimes they're disruptive. She said, yes, but it's a really happy group, etc. Really? It's been really fantastic because yesterday I said to my year 10 group, I gave them, there were about 30 of them. And I gave them all a topic in pair to do, like, probably subtopic strengths and weaknesses of what we are looking at. We're looking at addiction. And I say to them, I'll give you a topic and I want you to mind map it. I want you to do a mind map in pairs. And I want you to write on the table. That was so funny. One student said, Miss, what do you mean write on the table? I say, I want you to use the table to do your mind map. I say, I'm going to give you some markers. They're still looking at me. Miss, what are you talking about? Do you mean writing our books? No, I speak English very well. I don't want you to write in your book. I want you to write on the table. They've never had that before. Because what I've done is, I've got students to write on the table. And when they're writing on the table, a member of SLT came in, senior management team. She came in because I think one of the students set off the fire alarm. So when she came in, the student, I suppose they were nervous because they've never written on the table. And this teacher is telling them write on the table. So they're saying to the SLT, Oh, Miss tell us to write on the table. And she looked at them. She smiled. She said, I didn't even notice that you guys were writing on the table because I came in to look for someone. So I went out and I said to her, I said, it's funny. I suppose they were so anxious. So that's the first thing they say to you. I said, well, I noticed you didn't even take notice of it. She said, no, because I was not even interested in what they were doing. I was just looking for students. So I said, yes. I said, the nervousness, said to you that, oh, they were, Miss told them to write on the table. And it was lovely because all she said was, she didn't even notice, which was true. So that was one of the things I did with my year 10 yesterday. I've never asked year 10 to write on the table before. So for them, it was kind of a shocking thing. Whereas my year 12, year 11s and year 13 have always written on the table, because I remember when I first said to them, I want you to do a mind map on the table. They all look at me, what are you talking about, Miss? I say, yes, I want you to write it on the table. And don't worry, I'll take responsibility of that, because it's really nice when they actually start doing mind map on the table. They actually get involved in the topic. So that's been really fantastic. And we just wipe it off because it's marker. So that was one of the things I did with my year 10 yesterday. And my shock today was, some of the year 10 was in the classroom waiting for me to come, because they know my routine is, since the year 12, year 13 I've gone, I would go upstairs to my office, and then I'll bring down my bag and all my, my work for the day. With all these groups I'm teaching, I'll come downstairs in my classroom. I'll spend the rest of the day in my classroom, because I teach, sometimes 5 lessons for the day, or sometimes 3, whatever, but I'll spend the rest of the time in my classroom. So some of the students know my routine. So they were all there waiting for me with gifts and all of that. And, Miss, why do you have to leave? Oh my goodness, it was so emotional. It was so emotional. I thought my last school was emotional. Oh my goodness, this one was the worst one in terms of emotional, because I had, I think it was last year was one of the private school I worked in, a Jewish private school. And it's like the students wrote on the board, they write on, on those little whiteboard, oh, Miss, you're the greatest, and all of this thing. I think, what's wrong with you guys? Miss, you have to leave, and all of that. And getting the same response in this school was even more overwhelming. So that was one of the first things happened to me this morning. I'm really grateful for my students. Yes, they were challenging. Yes, we had, a number of ups and downs, but that goes with teaching. But if you actually value the students and really make them feel that there's somebody, that they're worth it, it turns out okay in the end. Because something I've said to my student on Monday, I think I was on the way back from school, I was just thinking, in terms of motivation, etc. Because I've got a motivation board in my classroom with all motivation quotes, etc. And every day I give them my motivation quotes and we talk about it. So one of the things I say to them, I want them to positively be bold, be brave, and be blatant. So that's my 3 things for all my students. So when they enter my classroom, I've been saying to them, be positively bold, brave, and blatant, but in a positive way. So that's the thing that's my mantra I've been saying to them for the last week or so. And it's really good because they're actually taking pictures of it, etc., etc. So that was my, my first surprise this morning. The next one, I keep on saying I wasn't going on a school trip. So after the initial getting over, the surprise, etc., and all the students coming in and those who came in to write on the board before they went off the trip, that was really, really overwhelming, because some students who actually gave me so much hassle, and I'm going home in the evening thinking, okay, I need to really find a way of engaging with that student, because that student was, he's always challenging me. I'm thinking, okay, but it's not only the student. What am I doing wrong? How could I reach that student? And then sometimes he come in and he's, obnoxious. And I said to him, leave my class. Get out of my class. And he's still sitting there. I said, I'm going to give you double detention. He's not even moving. He's still sitting there. So one day I said to him, I don't understand. I've sent you out of my classroom because you were being obnoxious and you were being rude. And you're still sitting there. And I'm giving you double detention. He just ignores me. I give him double detention. It doesn't make a difference. Anyway, one student said to me, she did ask him, why is it that even though Miss tell you off and she give you double detention, you still stay in the class? His answer was, I enjoy the class and I'm learning. And I thought it was hilarious. I thought, you know what? There's no point in sending him outside, even though he's obnoxious. You'll have to work on that one, work with that, because he's not going anyway. And I'm giving him double detention. There's 1 week. I gave him 3 sets of double detention because he was being rude. You know, he was constantly challenging. He was talking above me. You know, I put his name on the board. I said, I've given you double detention. He had detention 3 times that week from me, and they were all double. That student wasn't going anywhere. When I realized that, I thought there's a pointless exercise, me actually sending him outside because he's not going anyway. Initially, I thought he was being really rude. The fact that when you send a student or the student staying, I decide to send an email to SLT to come and remove him from my class. I started writing the email and I thought, Debbie, it's a waste of time. I left it. I didn't even bother. I thought, okay, I have to deal with that student. I just have to find a way to deal with that student. And the fact that that student decided he was leaving my class because he felt he was learning, you know, I realized there's no point in trying to send him out. There's no point in the double detention because he would go to his detention. He's not telling the rest of his friends that he's on detention from me, you know. If someone see him, he's going to say, oh, he's doing extra work, right? That's so funny. So then I realized it's a waste of time. I just had to find a way of dealing with that student. And, you know, the beautiful thing about it is that student, in the last 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, he's diligently doing my work. Even though he missed a lesson, he will message the others in the group because he wants to know what I'm giving them, what work I've given them to do. So it's been really amazing on that front. And, you know, when that student gave me a gift today, he gave me 3 fantastic boxes of chocolate. I was so emotional because that student, he and I have really had challenges. And when he wrote in the card, oh my goodness, it just melted me because, you know, he realized he was challenging and he acknowledged that in the card. And it's like, he was really grateful the fact that I did not give up on him and all of that. And I was thinking, and he said, even though you wanted to give up on us and you didn't give up on us and you didn't give up on me either. Oh my goodness. Like, oh Lord. I don't feel that we should give up on students, but they're challenging sometimes. So that was kind of I was very, very, very emotional today. My students, you know, they look at me and say, Miss, you're not meant to cry. I didn't realize, I noticed that was, you know, tears were coming. So that was emotional. My other thing was, that's one of the aspects I was grateful for. The other one was, as I said, I wasn't going on any school trip. Sitting in my classroom, I went and looked on email, and then I realized that I was meant to be on a trip with year 9 in, I think it's one of the football stadium. When I look at the time, they had already gone. I thought, oh, I didn't even realize I was meant to be on a trip. So then another teacher saying to me that, Miss, are you going on a trip? I said, no, I'm not going on any trip. I'm going to my classroom and then do my marking. And then she said, oh, you know, it's 2 of us on the trip and we have a group of students. So I need one more person so that I could take all the students. I said, well, keep on looking. Then I went to the bathroom and I was thinking about it. I said, there's no point in me telling her keep on looking, you know. I might as well just go on that trip because it means that some student wouldn't be able to go on the trip. So when I came out of the bathroom, I went and said to her, you know what? Forget it. I'll come on the trip. She was so excited. She said, oh, Miss, thank you. You know, she said because it would have meant that, you know, at least 6 students or 7 students would not have been able to go on the trip. I didn't even think about all of that. I just thought, oh, I didn't want to go on a trip. And then when I was thinking about it in the bathroom, I thought, you know what? Let me just say to her, forget about going to find someone because we have 3 other staff in the team of sick. You know, so we went on the trip and it was Go Ape, I think it was called, where they had to climb all these obstacle courses, etc. It was absolutely fantastic. I did not prepare for that trip. I didn't, you know, because I had sandals on, so I couldn't go on those obstacle courses. But it was just lovely seeing the students because I went with year 10s. You know, some of the students I teach anyway. It was just so lovely seeing the faces that were so excited for that trip. It was just really lovely. I had such a great time, you know. Although I didn't have anything to eat because there was nothing, the pack lunches, etc. There was nothing for me to eat, being a vegetarian and forcing eating. So when we got to it was in Alexander Palace. So when we got there, I thought, okay, I'll have something to eat. They had nothing for me to eat, except sandwiches. I don't do sandwiches. So I thought, you know what? Let me just get fresh juice. I got a glass of fresh juice, and that was me for the day. It was just absolutely fantastic. It was tiring because I forgot what it's like going on a school trip with his children. But at the same time, it was absolutely fantastic. So I am so grateful to have had the opportunity to go on a school trip post-COVID with my students, because school trip haven't happened for a long time because it was COVID and, school wasn't going on trips. So it was just really lovely, taking those students on trips. And when we got there, there was another group of year 9. There were year 7 and 9. They were doing ice skating, etc. So when we were coming back, we met up with them by accident. It was not intentional. So it was, I think it was year 8 and 9, actually. And they were a group of 60. And we were a group of 21, because 7 to teacher. So we were a group of 21, and we met up with a group of 60. Yeah, 8 and 9, noisy as anything else. But they also had fun, So when we actually getting back, because we actually walk halfway through, but this time we decided to take the bus. And when the buses came, the buses couldn't take all of us because there were one group of 60, and we met up another group of students again on the way. So there were 3 groups, different groups. So we actually got on the last bus with a group of year 9s. So all in all, it was just a fantastic day. The students had such a wonderful, wonderful time. They were talking about it. We took pictures of them actually dangling across. It was brilliant. So I am so grateful for all of that today. So that was my gratitude day, in terms of my students actually surprising me with this. With all these gifts, which I've actually put some of them on Facebook, all these gifts and all these cards and, all this thank you and appreciation, etc. So it was really, really lovely. And then I decided to go off on a school trip, with one of my colleagues, etc. Today, all the children were on school trips. So the school was empty except for students who've done the trips before and they decided they were not going. So let's say they probably had about 10 students left in the building. The majority of students, they've all went off on some trip. Who went go-karting, who went ice skating, who went to the football stadium. There were so many different trips today. And, the students basically had a fantastic time. So it was really nice to see how appreciative the students have been, because, as I said, COVID, they had no trips. They had no prom and they had no trips. So this year we had year 11 proms, which was 2 weeks ago on a Friday. And then we had year 13 prom, which was, I think was last Tuesday. And now we had, the school trip for all the year groups. And it was fantastic. So that's my win today. My win was, student appreciation. And the fact that to see how the students really, really enjoy those trips. So it was lovely. Being a teacher, yes, it's challenging. And being a teacher, no doubt it is hard work and it is challenging. However, it is also such a fantastic, rewarding job if you love the job. And I love teaching. And when I look at the impact I'm making on my students, it's all worth the stress and the hassle. Because when they're saying to you, oh, Miss, I've really learned from your lesson, I really understand the topic, it makes you feel good as a teacher that you're actually doing your job, and you're doing a job that is worth doing amid the stress, the anxiety, and everything else. Don't get me wrong, teachers out there. I know it's stressful. I know it's tiring. I know it's challenging. But guess what? In spite of all of that, there are the fun times. Yes, sometimes you have to tell the student off, etc., because they're not listening, and you have to take them outside, You know, yes, I give this is one school I've given a lot of detention, but then halfway through I realized detention isn't working. Although I talk to them outside, sometimes I still have to give them the detention. And some of them are saying to me blatantly, Miss, you know it's not working. Yes, I know it's not working. So that's why I'm talking to you as well. So, you know, teaching is challenging, but it is rewarding as hell. Especially when you're hearing the student that you did not engage with, or you thought you didn't engage with. You thought you're having a lot of challenge with. They actually have learned something. One student who said to you that, Miss, I have never sat in the front of the class. But we had a small group and I said to my student, I don't want anybody sitting in the back of the class. I think I had 15 or 18 of them. And I said, nobody sit at the back of the class. I said, there is no back of the class for me. I said, you guys need to come up front. And I remember the first time seeing some students, their faces dropping and like the attitude is like, how dare she want us to come in the front? I have to remind them, I don't care what you're thinking. This is my class and I'm the teacher in here. And I'm saying nobody sits at the back. And when one student wrote in the card that she's never sat in the front before, until I start saying to them they have to sit in the front, no back, because they're a small class. And she said now she finds it so strange to sit in the back of the class, and she's not sitting in the back of the class anymore. She said, Miss, you really empowered me to sit in the front of the class, and I've never answered questions. When teachers asking questions, I've never answered before. But you've actually made me volunteer to answer. That really makes you feel good as a teacher. You feel, oh my goodness, all the hard work is worth it. It is stressful, I'm saying to you guys. It's not an easy job. Teaching is not easy. But when you have actually nailed it with the students, and they had attitude at the beginning, and you say to them, I don't care how much attitude you have, you guys need to remember, I'm the one in my class, and there's nothing wrong with your brains you could learn. Whoever tell you that you couldn't learn, just ignore them and making sure that you guys going to be learning in my lesson. And it really was fantastic. In terms of implementing brain break after every 20 minutes, we have a 2-minute brain break. We do some drawing, etc. Man, my students learned a lot, and I've learned a lot, and it's been fantastic. So teachers, I know it's stressful. I know it's tiring. I'm not saying that lightly. I know that. But at the same time, when your students are coming to say to you that they've learned from your lesson in spite of the challenges you were having with them, man, it's worth it. There's sometimes I'm going home on that train, I'm rocking my brain and thinking, that damn student is engaging. He's challenging me. My goodness, what am I going to do tomorrow? Oh gosh, I've got them tomorrow. And then I began to change my mindset. I said, okay, I've got them tomorrow, but it's going to be fun. So it's like having a positive mindset. And I must say, it's worked. And it's always worked for me all the time. But I tell you, initially, it's hard work. So guys, you teachers out there, you just have to hang in there. You're doing a brilliant job. Parents out there, you need to remind your student that you need to remind your children there's nothing that they cannot do, right? And teachers, you have no right to be telling students that, they're not going to be getting a high grade, etc. Who are we to tell them that? Because we don't know. A student might do lousy marks, but guess what? The real exam, they get A star. And that have happened so many times. So I never feel that it is in my position to tell a student what I cannot get. All I have to say to a student, I believe in you, so you need to believe in yourself. And you to make sure you give me the results. And when you keep on making that a mantra for your student, believe me, they give you the results. My students have given me the results. They were actually eager to come to my lesson and meet the challenges we were having. So, it's a job well done. Tiring as hell, but it was a job well done. Anyway, guys, I know I've gone on for a bit. I haven't been on for a while. So I guess I'm making up for it. So we break up next week. And some of my year 13 students were meant to come to see me today. And I had to send message and say them, well, I'm going on this school trip. So they're going to come next week. So I've said them, they better, when they come, there's no more tears because These students have made me so emotional with some of the things they've been writing and telling me, etc. You know, it's been fantastic. Now I'm looking at it. Yes, I'm sorry I'm leaving, but there's sometimes I feel my job as an educator is to go to other schools and make my mark. So I guess that's what I'm going to be doing. I've had a number of offers to a number of schools, and I've turned three of them down because I didn't feel it didn't sit with me. So I am still, trying to find the right one, trying to find the right school. But God knows where he wants me to be and what he wants me to do, so it's in his hand. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys on Monday. And I've actually started something which says 31 days of mindful teaching. So it's going to be on my education platform. It's 31 days of mindful, I think I call it 31 days of mindful teaching. So every day, there's a quote or I'm not too sure I could say it's a quote, It's, what is it? A tip, I guess you could say, of how to teach mindfully. And my students have actually reminded me of how I needed to teach mindfully, because there's sometimes we need to meet students where they are, because remember, they're coming to us with a backpack, and in that backpack is full. So before we could actually educate them academically, we have to start unpacking that backpack. And my students have taught me that in terms of how to become even more mindful in terms of my teaching than I have been. Because especially my year 10 and some of my year 12 have been really challenging. So it's like the times I would be going in and say, okay, I have to meet the students where they are, where they're at. And I have to be mindful and present. And as educators, it is so vital that we are mindful and present when we're teaching our students. Forget about trying to meet this target. We need to meet our students where they are, because there's sometimes we might be the only positive person they're seeing in the whole day. And they'll rely on us. And it's even more so now, especially with a lot of mental health issues. Our students rely so much on us. Anyway, guys, have a fantastic evening, night, morning where you are. Take care, stay blessed, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye-bye.